trying to see how long she's gonna let me hold her. Oh, this is actually going a lot better than I thought. So today we are going to be doing a realistic reading week in my life video. For context, I work 4 days a week, and that is technically full-time, if you want to get technical about it. So sometimes, you know, I read a shit ton during the week, and sometimes I can't finish a book. So it's all kind of up in the air about how things go. So I thought it might be a little interesting to see how much I realistically read in a week. I'm so shocked she's letting me still hold her. Okay, yeah. Okay, and she's gone. She's done with this. To start off, it is Monday. I just got off work, which is why I probably look a little cray-cray. And I did read about 20 pages during my lunch break, which is honestly kind of typical for a normal day. I do try to read during break sometimes, but it's hard because even though we have an hour, like we all kind of sit and talk to each other. So I'm kind of like there with my book, like reading and in the conversation. So I did get 225 today. And this is a 400-page book. Now, ideally in a perfect world, I would love to finish this book today. Not because I'm ready for it to be over, but I am kind of thinking about how it's 6 days into the month, and I technically have finished one book this month, but I counted that towards my April reading stats because I read the majority of the book in that month. So it just kind of looks like I haven't read anything this month, even though realistically, like I know I have. And this is just a sign for all you people out there to not be too hard on yourself about the pace that you're reading. I feel like I picked up this book and I was like, oh sweet, 400 pages, you know, they say it's fast paced, I'll finish this in like 2 days. And sometimes that really is the case. Like sometimes I do read that fast, but a lot of times too, like life just doesn't let me. Like things came up, we want to see friends, I want to see a friend, I just don't feel good, I don't feel like it. Like every week is so different, so this is just a sign for me to be more patient with myself. So ideally I would love to finish this today. I have no idea if that's actually going to happen or not, but we shall see. So page count for today, we're going to go with 20 so far, and I will check in with you guys later. Friends, so it is hours later. We do have a lot to update on. So I made it to page 356, which means realistically I have like 40 pages left of this book. But y'all, I am so exhausted and my head I'm starting to get a headache, and your girl needs to go to bed. And I really took a second and I was like, you know what? I want to enjoy finishing this book when I finish this book. I don't want to force myself or anything like that. Statistically, for my reading for a week, there will be no difference if I finish this book tomorrow or tonight. I mean, honestly, like, let's be for real. And I need to stop being in competition with myself. Like, it'll be fine. But I did realize I didn't really talk to you guys in this video about what this book is about. So this is Swamplandia by Karen Russell. And this was a Pulitzer Prize finalist the year that it came out, which I believe was 2011. So essentially, we have a few different characters, but it all centers around a family. And this family lives in a remote island where you have to take a ferry to get to it, and they own a gator wrestling theme park called Swamplandia. And so our main character is Ava, and she's 13 years old. She's the youngest child in this family, and her entire world is falling apart. So her grandfather got moved to like a retirement home on the mainland. Her mother got really sick. Her sister has fallen in love with this character that I honestly don't even know how to begin to describe, but he is very creepy. It's just so odd. And her brother, in his own effort to save the family and save the park, has left and defected to the family's rival camp, which is called the World of Darkness. And it's literally like a Dante's Inferno themed theme park. And it's taking all of their business and all of their tourism, and also her mom isn't performing anymore. And so he has moved to the mainland to get a high school degree. He's very smart. He just wants to be educated. He wants to go to college. He wants to go to Harvard. And so he has gone to the mainland to get his GED, earn money, pay off their family's debt, go to college, and save the family, essentially. And then in the middle of all of this, their father also leaves them to go on a business trip to the mainland. So knowing all of that information, I was like, oh, this is going to be really good. And then I was reading, you know how like at the beginning of the books, it has like pull quotes from different people. Stephen King, I'm trying to find the one that he wrote because I was like, oh my. Okay. Stephen King named this one of the best books that he read in 2010. And he said, Russell is a tremendously gifted writer, and Swamplandia goes rollicking right along until you get to the bone-chilling second half, which is as terrifying as Deliverance. And Deliverance, if you've ever seen that movie, is crazy. And so I was reading the first half because I had seen that, and I was like, okay, so this is not what it seems. Like, what is going to be happening is not, like, this book is going to take a turn. And it has. And I am worried for our girl Ava. I am so worried for her. And it's so interesting because you're reading it, she's our narrator, and then we do get glimpses of her brother Kiwi when he's on the mainland in Florida, are seeing it through a 13-year-old's brain, right? So she's wanting to trust the people around her and wanting to kind of figure things out. And you're reading it and you're like, okay, this could be one of those books where like these people can be trusted and it's real, or this is going to go horribly, horrifically sideways. And it's not, and it is so enthralling, and I think that it would be a great A24 movie if you guys are into that kind of thing, or if that kind of gives a good glimpse into what it's like to read this. It really does feel like that to me, and it is, every single time I read it, I'm like so in there, and it's weird. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like if you haven't noticed from the summary of it, it's a weird book, but I can't stop reading it, and I really, really care about these characters, and I really, really care about this little girl. And another thing that I just think is so comical is they refer to all of their gators, all of their alligators don't have individual names. They call them Seths, like the name Seth. Every single alligator is named Seth. So whenever they're referring to their alligators at their house, they're like, oh, the Seths. Or like the oldest Seth, or there was this, like they were in the water and like the Seth was right above me. I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's just so weird. This family is so odd. This place is so odd. And it's so interesting, and I don't want to say anything to give anything away, but Kiwi's journey in the mainland working in this underworld is so metaphorical and lines up perfectly, nearly, with everything that Ava is going through by herself. And I just think that it's so smart, and it's also funny, and it's just so interesting, and I really, really want to see how it ends. I technically could finish it tonight and still get to bed at a decent hour. Like, I could finish it and probably be done around 10, but I just really want to absorb everything that's happening in this book because I feel like it's going to be crazy. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and we will finish this book and start our next one. So I'll see you guys later. All right, it is Tuesday, and we have not read one word yet today, and it is about 8:30, 9 o'clock. This is a prime example of things coming up and me not reading at all yet. To a family dinner thing with Joe's family, had a work event today where I may or may not have drank a little bit. We are going to knock out the rest of this book. We're gonna finish it. We're gonna see what happens. I'm very scared. I have a lot of anticipation, so let's see what's going on. Wait, hold on. Wait. Oh no. Why am I crying? Oh my gosh, thank God. I'm so scared. I can breathe. I'm gonna need to think about this one. I'm gonna need to think, and we will gather our thoughts in the morning. I need to think about what just happened, but it was very, very good. Okay guys, I have been absolute crap at filming today because I have done nothing but wake up and read Funny Story by Emily Henry. I am so obsessed with this book. For context, it is Wednesday. Sorry, I didn't say that. It's Wednesday. This is our off day this week, and Joe is working. So I've just been chilling, reading, doing absolutely nothing. I've read 200 pages so far, and it's only about 2 o'clock. So I will be finishing this book today. No doubt about it. I am so into this book. I love it. I love our main characters. I love this area of Michigan that we're in. I love this town, and I know that there are things that are going to be revealed that are going to crush me. I can just tell, but I think I'm going to love every second of it. I'm going to say thank you, Emily Henry, for making me cry, and it's going to be a great time, and I'm so excited to keep reading it. I will do a better job of filming myself throughout the rest of the day, but I am very, very excited, and that's the update so far. You guys, she did it again. She never misses. There are no misses. 5 stars. Read it. Everyone, read this book. Like, not to be dramatic or anything. And I may be on a high from finishing an amazing book, but this was fantastic. This was so good. So heartwarming. She just says everything she normally does, but it's a totally different story, you know? Like, there's a lot of family and personal reflection going on, and like it's just so much more than a romance book, as always. I love it. And it's only like 5 o'clock. I read like almost 400 pages in an entire day, and it feels like no time has passed, and that's a mark of a good book. Like, it feels like I've been reading for maybe an hour and a half. It feels like it should be 1:30. And it's not. Unfortunately, I wouldn't say I wasted my entire day, but I have spent my entire day doing nothing technically, but sitting on a couch, I mean, that's my favorite thing to do, but you know. So yeah, I feel like no time has passed. I feel like I have just been having a great time, and read it, everyone read it. So yeah, I really need to do real life things in this house today. Like, I need to figure out what I'm doing for dinner. There are just little things that I feel like I need to do before I dive back into another book. And I feel like I need a second to kind of choose which one I'm gonna read next. I'm in between two options. I think I know which one I want to do, but I'm in between two options for my TBR right now. So we'll see. We'll see if I read any more today. That might be a little crazy, but I love it. So like, is it really bad? You know? Okay, so I have approximately very few minutes to give you this update because I'm currently making dinner and it's about to boil over. But I am about 100 pages into Thirst, and I don't really know that I ever gave a synopsis for this. So essentially it's like a vampire gothic, it's like a mix of a few different genres, but essentially it's like a vampire gothic novel that takes place between two women. For some reason this analogy just came into my head, and if you guys haven't seen this show, then you might not understand what I'm about to say, but in the show Seinfeld, they all go see a movie called Rochelle, where it's one woman's strange and exotic journey from Milan to Minsk. And I feel like this book is Rochelle, but it's Buenos Aires and it's vampires. And I don't really know how else to explain that. It's a journey as a vampire through Buenos Aires. Currently, about halfway into the book, that's what it is. A strange and erotic journey for this vampire through Buenos Aires. And I am eating it up. I am loving every single second of it. I think that it is so smart. The writing is so fantastic. It's so good. I really wish I was annotating this book. And I think I need to start setting out to annotate my books at the very beginning, because normally about like 80% of them, about halfway through, I'm like, gosh, I really wish I'd annotated this. But the writing is so beautiful. I am so just into this story right now, and I'm very interested to see where it's gonna go, because right now it's been from the vampire's perspective the entire time. And so I'm interested to see when this woman is going to come into play. But very good. We will see what happens on this strange and erotic journey. Florida. Doom, 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 doom. I know, I'm sorry. You were in my seat, but really I was in your seat. It's Friday, and that means, sadly, this is the last day of this what I read realistically in a work week video, whatever the heck I'm gonna end up titling this. We have done surprisingly a lot this week. We finished one book, read a whole one, most likely gonna finish this one and start another one tonight. So all very exciting. I am really pumped about it. I kind of updated you guys last night a little bit, but I am really into this book. It is definitely like a gothic vampire situation. It's not like spooky yet. It's more like this woman's journey of being a vampire and like what that means for her. And her perspective is really interesting because she enjoys being a vampire, or it's not necessarily that she enjoys it. Like, she wasn't turned into one on her account. She didn't really have a choice, but she's been like alive for centuries, and she Like, I think the most recent vampire book I read was The God of Endings by Jacqueline Holland, which was also really good, but her perspective, she was trying to learn how to control it, and she didn't really understand. Like, she knew what was happening to her, and she knows what's happening to her, and she knows what she is, but she doesn't like it. And this character, she, like, it's not that she, well, no, she does kind of enjoy killing people sometimes, but she knows fully what she is. She knows exactly how to do what she needs to do. She relishes in it. She very much enjoys, like, there's no ounce of like, but why do I do this? Why can't I? I'm fighting this. Like, she's not fighting it. She's not fighting. She's completely given it. So that perspective I actually enjoy, because I haven't really read from that perspective. Granted, I'm only halfway through it, so that could change. We could have a little bit of a different viewpoint in there. But as of right now, that's kind of where we're at. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading, because I've been so excited to read this book all day long. So let's go ahead and get started. And it is, I didn't even have my watch on. I don't know why I just did that. Joe thinks I can read that? Please. It is 4:01. We get off early on Fridays. Let's go crush it. Honestly, let's go ahead and crush it. Okay, friends, we have some stuff to talk about. The first being, it is the next day. I did finish Thirst last night, but I fell asleep like immediately afterwards. I was so tired, so I didn't update you guys last night. So to update you now, I think I'm gonna do a 4-star for this book. I'm wrestling with whether or not I think that this book was kind of mismarketed. Like, I'm trying to figure out a way to say this without spoiling it, because what they advertised it did happen. It just didn't happen when I would have liked for it to have happened, if that makes any sense. And I think it was really interesting because it is told from two perspectives. So you get the vampire's perspective, and then you get the woman's perspective, who I believe her name is Alma. The book is kind of split in half between their two perspectives, and the vampire's perspective is so, like, the way that she wrote it, like, you just know that this vampire has been alive like for centuries and centuries, and she has centuries and centuries ahead of her. Like, time is not really a construct to her. And then for Alma, like, everything is time. Like, you really get like only a few months in her perspective, but in her perspective you just can tell how finite everything is. And I think that the prose was amazing. It wasn't pretentious at all, but it was so good and readable and smart. And I think that the ending is ambiguous, and I think that that is also supposed to kind of represent the whole time thing without spoiling anything. But I think that there was just an element that I'm finding so hard to describe what I missed from the book without spoiling like what happens in it. But there was just an element that I wish we could have seen a little bit more of, but I completely understand why we didn't. So all that to say, I think that it's absolutely insane. 3 books over the course of this work week. And I think that my reading recently has just been so odd. Like, at one point, this would have been a totally normal reading week for me. I feel like lately, I don't know if it's because I've been reading bigger books, but I just haven't been reading as quick lately. But I think that also is part that I did have a book slump a while ago, and I'm finally out of that, and I'm so excited about what I'm reading. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but this was definitely very exciting for me. And also I do think that it has a lot to do with the readability of Funny Story because I read this in one day. So I do think that it has something to do with the readability of this book. If I had been reading something that I wasn't as absorbed with, I don't know that we would have finished this many books in 5 days. But I really liked filming it this way. I really enjoyed kind of documenting what I'm reading in a week. Definitely think I'm going to try to do more of those, but I am so glad that you guys stuck around to the end of the video if you guys stuck around, and I will see you guys next time.